Let's be honest for a moment. You are not confused. You are avoiding a hard choice. And that sentence? It probably lands with a thud, a heavy, uncomfortable weight in your chest, because it holds a difficult truth you've been trying to outrun. You have been circling the same problem for weeks, months, maybe even years. It's a familiar loop of indecision, a mental hamster wheel that feels productive but takes you nowhere. You tell yourself, and anyone who will listen, that you just don't know what to do. You claim you need more information, one more opinion, a clearer sign from the universe, or that perfect mythical moment to finally act. But deep down, beneath the layers of well-crafted excuses and justifications, you already have the answer. That quiet, intuitive voice you've been trying to silence, it knows. You know the next step you need to take. You know the conversation you need to have, the boundary you need to set, or the risk you need to embrace. The issue is not a lack of clarity, it is a lack of courage to face what that step requires of you. The discomfort, the uncertainty, the potential for failure or disappointment. This pattern of pretending to be lost is a clever form of self-sabotage. It's a delay tactic disguised as diligence. You believe that more thinking, more research, more analysis will eventually lead to a painless solution. Yet the opposite is true. Overthinking doesn't illuminate the path. It only builds higher walls around it. The truth is, you cannot think your way into a new reality. Action is the only antidote to analysis paralysis. Clarity is not something you find. It is the reward you earn after you take the first uncertain step. Have you ever felt completely stuck, adrift in a sea of options, telling yourself you just don't know which way to turn? Here's a truth that might feel uncomfortable at first. Most of the time, the problem is not a genuine lack of direction. The problem is emotional resistance. It's fear, wearing a very clever and convincing mask of confusion. It's a protective mechanism, designed to keep you safe in the familiar, but it's also the very thing that keeps you from growing. So when you say, "I am just so confused about what to do," what you are often really saying is, "I am scared of what will happen if I do the thing I know I need to do." You're afraid of the potential failure, the judgment, the discomfort of change. Because deep down, you know, your heart, your past experiences, your deepest values, they are not silent. They have already aligned to point you toward the correct next move. This internal compass is remarkably accurate. It speaks in quiet nudges and gut feelings, but its guidance can feel intimidating because it almost always points toward the path of greater challenge and growth. So, instead of following it, you create a fog of indecision to obscure the path. You tell yourself the conditions aren't right, you need more information, you're not ready. This is avoidance. Let's make this real. Consider a professional decision you have been putting off. You know you are underpaid and undervalued at your current job. The feeling has been a quiet hum of dissatisfaction for months, maybe even years. You have seen other opportunities, and you know you have the skills to pursue them. Your internal compass is screaming, it's time for a change. But instead of updating your resume or reaching out to your network, you tell yourself you need to wait for the right time, or that you need one more certification to be truly qualified. You perfect and research endlessly, convincing yourself this is productive. This is false confusion. The real reason you stall is the fear of awkward interviews, the dread of rejection emails, the deep anxiety about leaving the familiar comfort of your current role, even if it's unfulfilling. Now think about a financial choice that has you stuck. Perhaps it's starting to invest or creating a real budget. You have the guidance. Simple, proven principles are everywhere. Yet you consume, compare, and never take action. You get lost in the weeds of 1,000 different strategies. You tell yourself finance is too complicated, that you need to understand everything before you start. In reality, you fear making a mistake, losing money, or choosing the wrong fund, so you do nothing, which is the only choice that guarantees a loss. This inaction, disguised as diligent research, costs you your most valuable assets, time and the power of growth. Finally, consider a personal relationship that consistently leaves you feeling drained and diminished. Every instinct, every quiet moment of reflection tells you it's unhealthy. But you minimize it. You tell yourself, maybe I'm overreacting. It's not that bad. We have good days too. The truth? You fear the loneliness that might follow. You dread the confrontation, the messy fallout, the pain of separation. And so, that profound fear masquerades as confusion and tolerance. Recognizing that you're not confused, but in avoidance, is the first, most powerful step toward freedom. These patterns of avoidance are subtle and often look productive, That's precisely why they're so insidious. They allow you to feel busy while remaining perfectly still. One common pattern is endless information gathering. You read every book, listen to every podcast, and ask every friend for their opinion, hoping for a magical piece of data that will make the decision for you. But there comes a point of diminishing returns where you're no longer learning, you're stalling. Hunting for one more tip, one more confirmation, becomes a convenient excuse not to act on the wealth of knowledge you already possess. Another pattern is waiting for perfect timing. This is a myth. Life is messy and unpredictable. Perfection is simply procrastination, dressed up as a clever strategy. It lets you abdicate responsibility for your own life to external conditions you can't possibly control. So how can you tell the difference? Avoidance feels like nervous energy, an agitated stagnation. It's a low hum of anxiety. Genuine confusion, on the other hand, is calmer. It's more open and reflective, a state of curious exploration rather than frantic paralysis. That low hum of anxiety is a signal. It means you're out of integrity with yourself. Your actions are not aligned with what your inner wisdom knows to be true. If this list of patterns and feelings sounds painfully familiar, it's time to be honest. Admit it to yourself right now. You're not confused, you're avoiding. The moment you stop hiding behind the mask of confusion, you reclaim your power. You shift from being a passive victim of circumstance to the active creator of your life. Why is it so common to dodge necessary but difficult choices? We know the conversation needs to happen, the project needs to start, the boundary needs to be set. Yet we find ourselves in a state of paralysis. It's not a character flaw, it's human wiring. We're biologically programmed to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism that served our ancestors well. Hard choices mean immediate, guaranteed discomfort, while the potential rewards feel abstract and distant. The discomfort is a certainty, the success is not. Your primal brain, the part that doesn't understand career goals or personal growth, flags change as a risk to your survival. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline, urging you to freeze or retreat. This internal resistance makes simple, positive actions feel monumental, lacing up your shoes for a run, making that tough call to a client, or writing the first sentence of a new chapter. Your body pleads for the familiar comfort of the known. The path of least resistance is always the most worn. But this avoidance isn't a neutral act. It actively rewires your habits toward inaction, shrinks your world one no at a time, and trades immediate fleeting relief for a deep, lingering regret later. Let's name the saboteurs. First, there is fear. It is the most powerful, and by far the most vocal. It doesn't suggest possibilities. It paints disasters in high definition. It speaks in absolutes. Always, never, everyone, no one. If you fail, you'll be a failure. If you ask for the raise, you'll be rejected and humiliated. Step out of that secure but soul-crushing job, and you'll lose everything and end up with nothing. Fear's primary tactic is to keep you small, convinced that the world operates from a place of scarcity, not enough opportunity, not enough love, not enough success to go around. What if no one buys? You'll look foolish. You're not qualified for that. The final command is always the same. Don't even try. Fear is a biased editor. It inflates risks and conveniently edits out your strengths, your resilience, and the long list of wins you've already earned. The key isn't to deny fear or wait for it to vanish. It's to name it as a protective, albeit misguided instinct, and choose anyway. You can feel the fear and still take the action. Acknowledge it, thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then politely inform it that you're in charge now. Then there is shame, a quiet, corrosive saboteur. Where fear shouts about external threats, shame whispers about your internal unworthiness. It whispers, "Who do you think you are to want more? You don't deserve it." So you hide. You downplay your ambitions. You avoid any situation that might lead to judgment. This isn't just shyness. Shame is the deep-seated belief that you have nothing of value to offer, and that at any moment, everyone will see through you. And finally, there is comfort. It's seductive, warm, pleasant, and dangerously predictable. It says things are good enough. Tomorrow is a better day to start. But comfort, left unchallenged, hardens like glue, fixing you in place. The cost of comfort isn't a dramatic crash. It's a slow, silent fade of your potential into a landscape of predictability. It's the death of what could have been. Breaking free means willingly stepping out of that warmth into the bracing air of uncertainty. But here's the truth. You can decide to live differently. You can act even with fear, shame, and the siren song of comfort present in the room. Transformation doesn't require a lightning bolt of courage. It starts with one simple, powerful choice: the choice to act anyway. Small, deliberate steps create momentum, and momentum is the force that shatters inertia. It's physics for the soul. Remember this: clarity comes after action, not before. One imperfect step forward beats 100 hours of flawless planning. Redefine failure as feedback. It's not a verdict on your worth, it's data for your next attempt. Every success story is built on a foundation of attempts, lessons, and resilience. Comfort isn't safety. True safety is not the absence of risk. It is your capacity to adapt, grow, and face challenges head-on. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. Choosing anyway, choosing the discomfort of growth, is the most profound act of self-respect you can perform. The goal isn't to have all the answers before you start. It's to be brave enough to move forward with the one answer you already have. The answer that says yes to your own potential. Your next level of success, happiness, fulfillment, requires you to make the decision you've been avoiding. The path isn't easy. It asks for courage and small, intentional steps. Feel the fear. Acknowledge the uncertainty. Choose to move forward anyway. Send the one-sentence email. Schedule the 5-minute meeting. Transfer the first dollar. Ask the question you've been holding in your heart. Set a timer for 10 minutes and work on the project. Each small choice shapes you. Each action brings clarity. Each step builds momentum. Your future is created one decision at a time. The power's been in your hands all along. You're not confused. You're avoiding the hard choice. Choose anyway. If this lit a fire, subscribe, share, and commit to one bold action today.